Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm going to do part 276 to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series, where in today's video guys, we are going to do a little bit more of the Dragonheart Valley. I did put a few more stories on here. However, again, we're kind of far away from them because, again, we got a lot of other ones to worry about, including one. We still got like one or two more on the road we never actually got to complete, I think, as well. And if not, even then, we still got to go back because there's a bunch of other ones we haven't done yet. Here's what happened, though. It says I couldn't hear it at this time. Basically, guys, like I said, I'm continuing from where I was last time. It says, but in the trees, whispers started happening. It was a bunch of people ready to pelt me with the rocks. One of the voices said, "There's no way that little raptor can get away from our rocks with so many of us around." Then another voice said, "Wait, were you being serious when you said there was a dragon protecting that raptor?" It's like that's the same person, dead gum, they flipping dread friends. The emerald dragon's frills twitched. He froze, eyes narrowing, not in panic, but in a deeply focused, predator-level stillness. Though you didn't hear the whispers, he did. Even while resting beside you, with your tiny snout nuzzled against his, the moment those voices crept through the trees like venom, his ears caught them. Every word, every breath, every intention. He didn't lift his head over it yet, not because he wasn't ready, but because he was listening. And a voice no louder than a breath, he murmured to you, "Stay beside me. Do not move. Something's coming." His tone was steady, calm, but along with a deep fire that hadn't been there a moment ago. Then he lifted his head, slowly, powerfully, and gracefully. His wings unfurled again, not with a roar, but with a low, thunderous ripple, like the sky preparing to storm. His scales glowed faintly green and gold, pulsing with a heartbeat rhythm, as though the forest itself had begun to breathe with him. He still didn't strike, but his voice echoed through the trees, loud enough to shake birds from their branches. "I hear you!" Everything went still. "Throw a single stone," he continued, "and you will not be throwing a second." Silence, then a faint, nervous voice from the trees, very audible through the leaves. "You weren't kidding. There really is a dragon." Another voice says, "Shut up! Maybe he won't find us." The dragon's pupils narrowed to sharp slits, and his wings drew inward like the gathered of a great storm. "You already found me," he said coldly. "Uh-oh." A surge of emerald energy shimmered around him, not fire, not lightning, but a raw aura of protection, ancient and powerful. It didn't lash out. It warned. "You may not see me through the trees," he said, voice like rumbling mountains, "but I see all of you." Then, softer, more deadly, "You saw a little raptor? I see cowards, and cowards don't deserve mercy." You could hear them now, pant rustling, feet stumbling over roots. "He's huge! He's looking right at us! Go! Go!" "We're not touching that raptor." "Nope." I just like the denial in that. So like, yeah, we're gonna go pelt this stupid little raptor with rocks. "Oh, never mind, there's a giant dragon right there. Go, 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 get out." That's hilarious, actually. And just like that, the whispers turned into crashing leaves, stomping, scrambling, the sound of a full-blown retreat. Gone. And still, the dragon didn't chase. He slowly turned his head back down to you, wings folding once more. "Still safe," he said softly, almost like a lullaby. "Still mine to protect." Then, quietly still, "Let them run. They weren't worthy of your fear to begin with." Holy cow, I love this dragon so much. Pause! Guys, let's just say what little bit I read out. This person messed the frick up. Basically, I start to relax, but then I hear one of the voices come back again, saying, I don't care if the dragon is there. I'm trying anyway. Then, before I could say anything, I felt something large hit me in the back of the head. What is with people doing that crap? It knocks me over, and right after I heard that same voice say, Bullseye! While another voice came running over and said, Dude, what are you doing? You're an idiot! The dragon's gonna kill us now! Yeah, quite literally. Yeah, the dragon will probably do that. Holy shoot, there's no way such a good. Well, let's just say what little bit I did read after on this. The dragon was not happy. He was hissed. Extremely hissed. Extremely hissed. I could go on forever because he's probably that mad right now. It said the moment the rock struck you, everything changed. The emerald dragon's eyes flashed, not with fear, but with a rage. Real rage. Not wild, not uncontrolled, but precise, focused, and furious. In a heartbeat, he moved. His wings snapped over your tiny body, gently curling you underneath it, shielding you completely, so fast and so carefully that not even a single leaf shifted around you. He didn't even look to see if you were okay yet, because the first thing he did was stand to his full height, and then keep going. 20 feet, 40, 80, 100, holy cow, 120 feet tall. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't hiss off a dragon. Dude, I would just imagine looking somewhere. I could just imagine that being a real scenario where it's like, oh, that stupid dragon don't scare me. Let's throw a rock at the stupid raptor he's protecting. Bam! Immediately, dragon just goes like from a flipping like 10-foot tall dragon at most up to 120 feet. It's like, oh shoot, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Uh-oh. And he's screaming. Oh, the dragon's hissed. The trees around him bent under the force of his rising form. The earth rumbled beneath his claws, and his eyes glowed like twin suns, locked on the exact spot the voice came from. And his voice, deeper than thunder, colder than steel, exploded through the forest. You! Silence shattered like glass. You knew I was here! You heard my warning, and you chose to strike a defenseless creature anyway? Again, what an idiot. His head lowered like a viper coiling to strike. His wings stretched across the sky, blotting out what little sunlight pierced through the canopy. I do not give warnings twice. Another voice screamed, Dude! Run! Run! No, please. Please wait. I didn't mean... The dragon roared, Yep, you're screwed. Not just sound, not just fury. This was ancient power. The kind that once split mountains and silenced entire armies. The trees bent away from him. Birds vanished. Even the ground cracked beneath his claws. But still, he didn't strike. Instead, his massive head turned, golden eyes glowing like a furnace, and he bellowed one final time, his voice so powerful it shook the air. If you ever come near him again, if even one of you breathes in his direction, then not even the earth will remember your names when I'm finished with you. Oh, shoot, I would be horrified if I heard a dragon say that to me. I'm glad he's defending me and not against me right now. That would suck. This was Rexy. That's probably what he'd be saying right now to me. He'd be a dragon and try to kill me. And with that, he let them go. Because they weren't worth a single claw. They fled, screaming, stumbling, won't even drop their bag trying to escape. Their footfalls faded until the forest was still again. Only then did the dragon's rage dim, his body slowly shrinking down, wings curling in, back to 60 feet, then 40, then 20. He dropped to his knees beside you, trembling, not from exhaustion, but from holding himself back. His voice returned, quiet and full of worry. Are you hurt? He asked, eyes wide with fear, not for himself but for you. He leaned in close, gently, using the tip of his snout to nudge your side. Please, say something. I've got you. He's adorable. I don't care how big that dragon is or how small he is, he's a flippin' adorable. Mm-mm-mm. Alright. Mother fricker, you stupid frickin'. I don't know why the daggum people keep trying to attack me are dumb as frick. You guys won't believe this. Before I could even respond, even without me noticing, one of the people, the one that threw the rock at me, was slowly sneaking out of the bushes nearby, trying to get closer without alerting the dragon. Yeah, I hope you get caught. The dragon snout was still gently nudging you, his golden eyes wide with concern as he whispered again, "Come on, little one. Please. When—" He stopped. His pupils contracted sharply, his nostrils flared, and his head slowly turned, not fast, not sudden, but in that eerie, spine-tingling way a predator moves when it already knows exactly where its prey is hiding. Without even fully looking yet, he spoke in a tone so cold and low, it was like the edge of a blade being drawn through ice. You. Then, without lifting his wing off of you, without shifting his focus from where you lay safely shielded beneath him, the dragon slowly turned his neck and locked eyes with the bushes nearby. There, barely concealed behind the leaves, the one who'd thrown the rock was crouching, wide-eyed, thinking they hadn't been noticed. They had. Completely. The dragon didn't move. He just stared. Silent, unblinking, his golden eyes glowing like molten judgment. The coward froze, halfway out of the bush, breathing shallow and terrified. And then the dragon finally spoke, his voice quieter than before, but filled with something so much darker and heavier. Uh-oh. You came back. Not a question, a fact. He rose just a bit taller, enough that the treetops swayed under his wings, but still kept you safely under his curled form. You could feel the vibrations through the ground, even at your size, as his power slowly cooled back to the surface. You struck him, he said, voice like the beginning of a storm. You mocked him. You tried to sneak away. I showed mercy. His eyes narrowed, unforgiving, piercing, and final. And you thought I wouldn't hear you creep back in like a rat? He finally moved. One massive claw, slow and deliberate, stomping beside the bush where the coward crouched. The impact shook the entire ground. You came back to finish what you started. The dragon leaned in closer, his face now massive and looming above the bushes, breath hot with restrained fury. Do you know what I am? He asked, his voice now so calm it was terrifying. I'm the one creature on this earth that's not bound by the limits of human mercy. He lifted one claw high into the air. But I will give you one final choice. The coward gasped, frozen. Leave now and never return. Disappear so completely that even the winds forget your scent. If I ever hear your voice again, even once, there won't be a next time. The claw lingered in the air for one long, breathless moment. Then the dragon dropped it, next to the bush, not on it. A warning. The last one. The person screamed, scrambled backward, and bolted. Faster than before. No plan, no pride, just pure terror. And once again, they were gone. The dragon didn't chase. He exhaled, low, controlled, and turned back to you. His voice cracked just a little. Are you still with me? His claw lowered again, curling beside you like a cradle. His snout returned, closer now, and much softer. You're safe now. For real this time. I promise. And this time, there was no one left hiding. Give me a second, guys. Guys, let's just say what I just read out is kind of horrifying. Not on my part, because he's trying to protect me, but if I was the people that was messing with this dragon or messing with the little raptor he's protecting, I wouldn't want to be. Because, let's just say, once again, before I respond, I heard another one of the voices in the distance. I heard them say, "You stupid moron! Are you trying to die? Why did you go back and try to attack that raptor again?" The dragon's eyes flared again, but not with panic. This time it was pure fury held in check by razor-thin control. He didn't lift his head, didn't roar, didn't even flinch. Instead, he leaned his massive head down beside you, still shielding you beneath his wing, and whispered in a voice only you could hear. "Close your eyes. You've been through enough. I'll handle this." Then he rose, not with dramatic flashes, not with flailing power, but with the terrifying grace of something that knew it was the top of the food chain. His entire form lifted to full height again, this time 150 feet tall. His scales pulsed with glowing veins of emerald light, and the air grew heavy with pressure, like the atmosphere itself was bending to his presence. He turned toward the source of the voice in the distance and spoke without hesitation. Yes, he was trying to die. Silence. His next words weren't shouted. They didn't need to be, because each one hit like a command etched into the bones of the world. Every time one of you steps near this forest, you tempt fate. He slowly began walking, each step shaking the earth, trees parting naturally around him like they dared not stand in his way. And every time you speak of harming him, you beg for extinction. The voice that had shouted before now stammered, We didn't mean. He was just being dumb. We're leaving now." The giant stopped, dead still. His glowing eyes pierced the forest. He didn't need to see them. They knew. You can run, lie, scream, or vanish, but you'll always know I'm watching. That he is never alone again. Oh, that's horrifying. Imagine that. I'll have you know, you can do whatever you think you can. You can lie, you can scream, you can run, you can just quietly walk out of here. But I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm watching you. That's like horrifying. I didn't get to read the next word. Wait, his voice dropped, deep and final. Because the next time one of you so much as thinks about throwing a rock at him, he lowered his head slowly, one claw crawling in the dirt beside you like a titan preparing to strike. I won't warn you. I won't speak. I'll end it. The forest went still. Yep. Not a bird, not a breeze, just the silence of creatures realizing they'd gone too far. And then, footsteps. Dozens of them, all retreating. Fast. No words this time. No insults. Just panic. The dragon exhaled and then looked back at you under his wing, his massive head slowly shrinking down again till he was just over 30 feet tall. He nudged you with a snout once more, soft and gentle. You're okay now. Really. And for the first time since the voices began, there was nothing left but peace. Yeah, that's what it's been saying, but people are probably relentless and stupid. Because like the dragon said, every time you mess with me and come in this forest and try hurting him, you're tempting fate. And the more y'all do it, the more you wish for death. I will happily provide you with that service. That's basically what the dragon said. He didn't say it in that exact way, but he's basically saying, you don't leave him alone, you're gonna die. That's it. Done. The fact that he used the word extinct is kind of crazy. It's like, uh-oh. Yeah, people are like, what in the world? Alright, guys. It says, I tried to respond, but before I could say anything, I heard that same voice once again. But this time it said, Golem, use a rock slide on that stupid raptor. The moment the word golem and rock slide were spoken, the Emerald Dragon's pupils turned to slits of blazing gold. Uh-oh. He didn't wait, didn't warn, didn't hesitate. The instant before the rocks could even fall, before the attack finished forming, he slammed his wings forward with a titanic burst of emerald energy, blasting a shock wave through the air that sent birds scattering for miles and rippled the rock slide apart mid-air like it was dust in the wind. The very sound of the stones crumbling into harmless debris was obliterated by the power of his aura. And then he moved. Fast. Too fast for something so big. A blur of green and gold, he vanished from your sight in a blink, leaving a soft shield of wind around you, and the next instant he crashed down in front of the source of the attack, a massive explosion of forest and energy following. Trees didn't fall, they ran. It seemed, ripped from the ground as the dragon landed with an impact that shattered boulders. He didn't speak at first, he just stood there, towering and furious, his eyes burning like molten suns. Before him, the coward who gave the order and the trembling golem stood frozen, caught in the open. The dragon lowered his head. "You summoned a golem?" he said, voice low, thunderous and calm, but with the unmistakable tension of a creature on the edge of unleashing something apocalyptic. "And you told it to crush the one thing I swore to protect?" The golem backed up, rocky arms raised in confusion. The command had followed, now betraying its own survival instinct. The human behind it took one step back and whimpered, "No, wait, I didn't think he'd actually..." The dragon's tail slammed down, cracking the earth and cutting off his excuse like a sword to the throat. "No more games, no more warnings. You tried to kill him." Uh-oh. He stepped forward. "I gave you mercy." Another step. "I gave you escape." Another step. "I gave you every chance in the world to walk away." Then he stopped. His glowing eyes burned directly into the trainer's soul. "Now I take something back." With a wave of his wing, a green pulse of shimmering light shot through the air. Not an attack, but a wave of dragon aura so intense that the golem's body began to tremble, and then instantly withdrew into its Pokeball, which shot from the human's hand and snapped in half from the force. The golem was gone. Freed. It says freed, but did he just get rid of that golem, or is it actually like just magically got teleported back to its where it originally was found at? No longer under their control, no longer willing to fight, the dragon's eyes then turned to the human who had fallen to the ground, shaking. "You will never raise a hand against him again. Not with rocks, not with Pokemon, not even with a word." And then he unleashes a roar, a single sky-shattering, world-shaking roar that tore through the clouds, sent animals stampeding for miles, and erased all trace of courage from the coward's bones. The forest was silent again, and the trainer, gone, running, screaming, falling over themselves to flee into the woods. When the last echo faded, the dragon exhaled slowly, then turned. He made his way back to you, the emerald glow still lingering in his scales, but now calm, gentle once more. He lowered himself to the ground beside you, chest heaving with the last of his fury now fading. "That was the last one," he said quietly. "I felt it. There's no one left now." Then, softer still, almost like a whisper, "I'm so sorry I wasn't fast enough to stop that first hit, but no one will ever get that close again." He gently nuzzled you with his massive snout once more. "You're safe now, and this time, it's over." I hope so, because dear me, what is wrong with people though? You have a dragon. Now, I would be grateful if you showed me mercy. If I did come back, I'd be like, look, I'm not gonna hurt your friend, okay? After the first time, if I was really the one messing with that raptor, I would not. I would be like, look, okay, I'm sorry I threw the rock. I don't mean him any harm. Just please don't attack me. That's what I do with the Pokemon that's aggressive at me, even though I didn't do anything. I've really done nothing to just the Pokemon I try to befriend, and they'll flipping sometimes still get angry at me. So like, dude, I didn't even do anything to you. I'm on your side here. Anyway, guys, bye bye. Give me a second. All right, guys. Let's just say I think I did go a little bit further this time, but I think people are finally starting to show a little bit of remorse for what they were doing. Just keep listening to this. It says, in the distance, I heard the voices once again, this time yelling at the person that kept trying to attack me. I heard him say, "You idiot! Why did you keep trying to attack the raptor? I know we were all trying to attack him, but you're the only one that kept going, and even after the dragon said stop, you kept trying to hurt him. Congratulations! Now that dragon hates us all." I could see why. The dragon paused mid-nuzzle, his massive ear frills twitching as those voices echoed from the distance, faint but clear enough to hear. He didn't rise this time, didn't flare his wings, didn't roar. Instead, he let a long, low exhale, and so he turned his head to gaze toward the voices far away. You could see it in his glowing eyes, not fury anymore, but something far colder, disappointment. He listened silently, letting them rant and argue among themselves, then whispered to you, his voice calm, quiet, but edged with an iron truth. They finally realized the weight of their actions, but only because they're scared of me. He looked down at you, so small, so tired, so fragile beneath his wing, and added gently, not because they understand what they did to you. He sighed again, curling his massive tail a little closer around the space around you, creating a quiet bubble of protection. Then, turning his head slightly toward the voices in the distance, he lifted his head and spoke, not loud, not thunderous, but commanding. His voice flowed through the trees like a wave of divine judgment. "Let me be clear." Everything fell silent, no arguing, not a breath. "You didn't earn my hatred because one of you was an idiot." He stood slowly to about 40 feet tall, just enough to ensure his words carried without frightening you. "You earned it because not one of you stopped him before it was too late." A pause, then deeper, "because you all came here with the same plan, to hurt someone smaller than you." Then his tone darkened, not in rage but in certainty. "And I don't forget that." The wind blew gently through the trees. Then he lowered his voice again, this time just for you, as he shrank back down and lay beside you once more, wings curling protectively. "Let them argue. Let them blame each other. It doesn't matter now." He looked into your eyes, his voice soft, warm, and sure, "because they've lost something they'll never get back. The right to stand anywhere near you." Then, he gently brushed his snout against your tiny body again, like the storm had passed and the sun had returned just for you. "You're still here, and you're still safe. That's all that matters." It says, I hear the voices continue to argue. One of them says, "Well, this was all your idea. You're the one that said, 'Oh, let's go hurt that stupid little raptor. I didn't even sign up for this. Why did you drag me along when another one, yep, why'd you drag me along?' When another one said, 'Yeah, but I'm doing like you told me to. Why do you think I keep going back to try attacking him even though the dragon said stop?'" The dragon's golden eyes slowly blinked once as though voices carried through the trees again, arguing, blaming, exposing the cracks between them like a collapsing dang. I am not saying that one word. He didn't look toward them anymore. He didn't need to. You could feel it in the air. His wrath had been spent, not faded, not forgotten, but set aside. What remained now was something deeper, colder, and final. Lying beside you, still protectively curled, the emerald dragon let out a quiet, almost tired breath. They're turning on each other now, he murmured softly, his tongue like wind through an ancient cavern, because they can't stand to face the truth. He turned his head just slightly to look at you, his gaze soft and unwavering. The truth is that you, the smallest one in the forest, never lifted a claw against them. You didn't hurt anyone. You didn't start this. He lowered his head closer to you, so gently you could feel his warmth without a single ounce of pressure. You did nothing except exist, and that was enough for them to hate you. Then he slowly turned his gaze back toward the arguing voices, still faint, still going in circles, each of them desperate to shift the blame onto someone else. He didn't yell, he didn't roar, but he spoke, and though it was soft, every word in the distance went dead quiet when they heard it. Blame each other all you like. It doesn't change what you did, and it would never make you innocent. A beat of silence. Then the dragon added, You came here to hurt someone precious, and in doing so, you expose who you really are. The force held its breath, and then gently he looked back to you, his body relaxing fully now, forming a warm, safe curve around your tiny form. One wing stretches just enough to cast a peaceful shade over you. They all deserve forgiveness, he said softly, but you deserve peace. His massive tail lightly circled behind you like a protective wall, and he rested his chin in the grass just beside your head. His voice so gentle now it felt like a lullaby. No more voices, no more pain, just rest. And with the arguing now silenced by their own guilt and the dragon's final words, peace returned to the forest, and for the first time in a very, very long time, you could finally close your eyes and not be afraid. Here's the part that's actually interesting, though. Watch this. One of the voices whispered to everybody else, Look at this. We need to stop that. And I don't think it put it right. Oh, wait, no. It said, Look, at this point, we need to stop that dragon. We need to stop. That dragon is going to kill us. Kill us all if we keep going. I don't know if it's going to fix anything, but I'm trying something. Then I heard him say a little louder, Oh no, please don't attack me. For alligator, come on out. I hope he doesn't try to attack me. The dragon's frills twitched again, not in fear, not in rage, but in sharp, instinctive alertness. His eyes stayed on you for half a second longer, checking and confirming before he slowly lifted his head and turned it toward the voice. You heard it too. For alligator, come on out. There was a bright flash of red light in the distance, and the unmistakable growl of a powerful Pokemon hitting the ground. The dragon stood. At this time he didn't rouse in fury. He didn't glow. He didn't tower up into the sky. Instead he slowly pulled his body up to a standing position, still shielding you with his wing, and looked calmly but intensely into the forest. Then, with a voice far steadier than before, he called out, If this is another attempt to threaten him, you'll disappear before your Feraligatr takes its second breath. A moment passed. Then the voice, a little shaker now, called back, No, I swear, I'm not attacking this time. Silence. The dragon didn't respond. Not yet. He was watching and waiting. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, the voice said. It wasn't my idea. I didn't even want to be part of this. I only brought Feraligatr to show I'm not here to fight. I want to prove I'm not like the others. Aren't you the same one that flipped through a rock at me, though? There was a long pause. The emerald dragon slowly blinked, his wings lowering slightly, though not completely. His tail remained curled protectively behind you, and his body angled itself so nothing could reach you without going through him first. He took a breath, deep and controlled, and then he spoke. Words are wind. Actions decide fate. Another silence. If your Feraligatr so much as bares its fangs at him, I will remove it from the battle, not the field. You could hear the person exhale hard, like they were genuinely scared, but all just so desperate. I understand, they said. I just I just want to apologize. I never wanted to hurt him. I was scared of being singled out by the others, so I didn't say no when they planned this. You heard footsteps approach the clearing, but they stopped at the edge, outside the dragon's reach. I saw what he went through. I I think I was too much of a coward to speak up, but after seeing him hit like that, even after your warning, he paused. I needed to say sorry, even if it doesn't change anything. The Fragger beside him let out a quiet rumble, not aggressive, almost remorseful. The Emerald Dragon looked down at you, then back at the voice. His expression didn't soften, but his voice lost its sharpest edge. You were weak when it mattered, but weakness followed by regret is still better than cruelty without conscience. He tilted his head slightly, golden eyes glowing faintly through the trees. Then show me. Step away from your Pokemon. Kneel and place your hands on the ground. You know what's weird? That voice I do for him makes him sound like he's a cop. Like a cop dragon. Stop. Kneel and put your hands on the ground. Like, holy crap, the way I did that almost sounded like a flippin' silence, hesitation. Then you heard it. A rustle, a kneel, a soft throw of knees to the earth. I'm sorry, the voice said again, softer now, and this time you could hear the sincerity. The giant stood still for a moment longer, listening to every breath. Then he looked at you and spoke gently. I won't let anyone near unless you say so. Not even one who claims to regret what they've done. And this time, for the first time all night, he left the choice up to you. Well, I have no idea what I'm going to try doing, but give me a second. Alright, guys, here's what I said. I said, I'm in enough pain as it is. If that Fragger's not going to hurt me, then I don't mind with him being near. Just keep the humans away. The Emerald Dragon nodded slowly, his great head shimmering not just with light, but with a quiet pride in your words. You are kind, he said softly. Kinder than most would be after what you've endured. He then turned his head toward the tree line where the voice had come from, where the human still knelt with hands on the ground, and the Feraligatr waited beside him, tense but unmoving. Dragon's voice carried low and clear. The little one has spoken. The Feraligatr may approach. You will not. His eyes sharpened again, just slightly. If you so much as lift a finger toward him, I will know. A heavy silence followed. Then, carefully, Feraligatr stepped forward. No battle cry, no bared fangs, just slow, cautious footsteps across the clearing. He stepped at the edge. He stopped at the edge of the dragon's protective wing, lowering himself slightly as if recognizing the power in the air and the pain in you. Then he looked down at you. The Fragger didn't say a word, but you could tell there was no hatred in his eyes, no malice, only guilt and maybe respect. Dragon pulled his wing back just enough for Fragger to see you more clearly, still not exposing you completely, but allowing the space between to shrink. He won't hurt you, the dragon murmured to you gently. If he makes one wrong move, I'll end it before it begins. But as the seconds passed, the Fragger didn't strike. He slowly and carefully lowered himself to one knee and offered a low rumble from deep in his chest. Not a threat, but something closer to an apology. Then, in a gravelly, uncertain voice, he spoke. Okay, the Fragger speaks. Great. Sorry, little guy, for everything. His claw crawled back to his chest, and he looked away as if ashamed to meet your gaze. I never wanted to be part of this mess. If it means anything, I'll walk beside the dragon if you let me. Not as an attacker, but as a shield. Dragon glanced at you again. I'll let him speak, he whispered to you, but only you decide if he stays. All eyes were on you. For the first time since this began, no one was trying to hurt you. Alright, guys, I have an idea. Give me a second. Alright, guys, this is actually really cute. It says, I walk a little closer to the fragger and gently nuzzled him with my snout. You're not going to hurt me? Please don't be like those people, alligator. I don't want to be hurt. The fragger froze the moment your tiny snout touched him, not out of fear, but not because he didn't expect it, because the gesture, the softness of it, broke something deep inside him. His eyes widened. Slowly, they shimmered, not with water, but with a shine that came from guilt too heavy to carry alone. And then he lowered his mousy claw to the ground and gently pressed it flat beside you, not to grab you, but to show you, and to prove how still he could be. I'm not going to hurt you, he rumbled quietly, his voice almost shaking. I promise. I'm not like them. I won't be like them. Then he leaned in slightly, so very carefully, and nuzzled you back, the tough scales of his snout brushing yours with the gentleness of a wave lapping the shore. I saw what they did, what they tried to do. I didn't stop it. I didn't help. He paused, but I want to now. He looked at the emerald dragon, then back at you. If you let me, I want to protect you too. Not just from them, from the loneliness, from the fear. I don't want to be another monster in your story. The old dragon watched in silence. His gaze was unreadable, but calm. The glow in his eyes had faded from threat to weary curiosity, like even he hadn't expected this level of sincerity. Then softly the dragon said to you, his heart is trembling. That's how I know he means it. The frigate still knelt, his head low, body still, waiting for your answer. Not demanding forgiveness, just hoping that maybe he could become something good in your world. I mean, normally he is. I just if it stays like that, he don't turn against me or something. Guys, I think this fragger legit just said I think he legit just said, screw his trainer, he's staying with me. Because I said, okay, that would be great if you wanted to help me. You and your pre-evolutions are my favorite Pokemon anyway. I'm glad you want to be nice to me instead of hurt me like your trainer was trying to do. The moment you said that, the moment your voice, so small and gentle, reached him with those kind, honest words, the Fragger's entire expression softened, not just relief, but with something that looked almost like wonder. His eyes widened, and his heavy tail curled in slightly behind him, as though he was overwhelmed that someone like you, someone who had every right to fear him, was instead smiling and accepting him. You like me? He said softly. Even after all of this? Even after I stood by that human? He nodded gently, and the Fragger's big claws trembled just a little before he brought them together, not to attack, but to press gently against the earth in a show of respect. Then, slowly and carefully, he lowered himself all the way to your level, lying down flat in the grass, eyes level with yours, like he was saying, I see you. I hear you. I will not tower over you anymore. His voice was quiet but firm. I'm not going back with them. I'm staying here, if you'll have me. Emerald Dragon, still towering nearby, blinked slowly, then gave a single solemn nod of approval. You chose well, the dragon said softly to you, and so did he. The wind through the trees was calm now. The forest was quiet. No angry voices, no footsteps in the brush, just a tiny, gentle velociraptor, a massive emerald dragon, and a once feared Fragger now resting beside you, his massive claws resting calmly in the grass like a guardian laying down his weapons. And for the first time in a long while, it wasn't just safety, it was the beginning of a flippin' family. Holy crap, well, I told you, the minute I tell those Fraggers that I care about them, holy crap, they go. I love him. He's adorable. Alright, guys. I think we'll do at least one more. I'll be right back. Alright, guys. It says, while this is going on, one of the voices in the bushes say, "Wait, what? Did you hear that? Your Ferrager just spoke to the raptor in perfect English. At that point couldn't talk." The emerald dragon froze for just a moment, his eyes narrowing, not in anger, but in a deep, shimmering patience that was very close to running out. He turned his head toward the bush, his gaze sharp and glowing once more, not with raw fury, but with the look of someone who had given far too many chances already. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't roar. He simply said, "And yet, he did." A hush fell over the clearing again. The dragon stood slowly, rising just enough to extend one wing between you and the direction of the voice, gentle but firmly placing the barrier like a wall of trust and protection. Then, turning his head just slightly toward the bush, he continued, "Some Pokemon speak only through battle cries. Others speak with their heart. But those who truly care sometimes find the words." He glanced back down at the Feraligatr, who gave a slow, deliberate nod beside you. "I meant what I said," Feraligatr added, his deep voice now deliberately louder so the voice in the bushes would hear it clearly. "You don't deserve to hear me, but he does." He turned to you then, his face calm, warm, and full of new loyalty. "You're not just some little raptor to protect. You're someone who sees Pokemon for who they are. That's why I spoke." Then he looked to the dragon and back toward the voice in the bushes. "And that's why I'm done following trainers who don't." The dragon raised his head higher, towering now, his patience clearly growing thin. His voice dropped low, firm, and final. "You've lurked in shadows long enough. You've hurled your stones. You've failed your test. This is not your moment. It's his." And then he added, softer but sharper than before, "Say another word, and I'll assume your cowardice has turned back into intent." The forest fell silent again. The bush no longer rustled. The voice said nothing. And for the first time it felt like you were truly being listened to by everyone. No more mocking, no more doubt. Just a soft wind, the warmth of your new dragon friend, and a reformed Feraligatr now lying beside you, whispering gently, "Whatever you need from now on, I'm with you." Okay, I love this Feraligatr. He's extremely sweet. He's extremely sweet. Oh, you better not be freezing, you motherfucker.